appearance of the touring professionals of the NASCAR stock car circuit. Sometimes the show the spectators puts on is almost as good as the racing on the big 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway. Gasoline chariots today, Caesar. Exciting racing for sure, and the fans find many diverse ways of getting here. It's the Pocono Stock Car 500, and you'll see it all today on ABC's Wide World of Sport. Pocono International Raceway in the vacation area of eastern Pennsylvania is one of only 5 2.5-mile speedways in this country. As such, it is visited once a year by the famous Southern stock car stars of NASCAR in a 500-mile event offering $188,000 in prize money, and just about all the big names are here. And a huge crowd has turned out for the Pocono 500 stock car race. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Economaki at Pocono International Raceway on a warm and somewhat humid day that could be difficult for many of the competitors because of the radical nature of the track. Three-sided with 3 turns, no two alike. A track that challenges not only the man at the wheel, but the man with the wrench as well. And there are some interesting stories in our 40-car field. Take Cale Yarborough, for example. The 3-time champion last year couldn't win a pole position no matter how hard he tried until the last race of the season. And here, he's on the pole for the 9th time this year and at record speed. And then there are the Pettys, father and son. King Richard, winner of more races than any other man in the business, goes against his 20-year-old son, Kyle. And Kyle is racing for the first time since becoming a father last month. Now, with us today is Jackie Stewart, a 3-time world driving champion. Jackie, what do you look for once the green flag falls?
Chris, historically, this racetrack has been one packed with incidents and accidents, and I don't think today is going to be any exception. I think it's a bumpy racetrack, and you see a lot of these cars getting loose. One man I would like to see doing well would be Cale Yarborough. He's had a wretched year of bad luck, and it would be great to see him back, of course, into winner's circle again, particularly as he's on the pole. But I think it's going to be a good race. Always these stock car races are close and tight, Chris.
Well, the field is impressive, 40 strong. Let's take a look at how they line up. On the pole at 151.469 miles an hour is 3-time champion Cale Yarborough of Timminsville, South Carolina. Alongside Neil Bonnet, Hueytown, Alabama. And in 3rd place, King Richard Petty in that familiar number 43, a fan favorite. Then it's Buddy Baker in car number 28. He won the Daytona 500. Next row is Bobby Allison in car 15. He's a regular on the circuit. And then Harry Gant, a newcomer, starting way up front in car 47. Darrell Waltrip is next in the starting order, one of the new young lions. And Terry Labonte, another youngster who's showing great style in stock car racing today. Back in 11th place is the point leader, Dale Earnhardt, last year's Rookie of the Year. And starting 13th will be Kyle Petty, the 3rd generation of Pettys to drive. On the inside in row 5 is former champion Benny Parsons. He's been a winner this year. A lot of big names are in the lineup going down to position number 40. Janet Guthrie, the lady driver, is driving her first stock car race of the year. And also in the field is Tim Richmond of Ashland, Ohio, who was the Rookie of the Year in the Indianapolis 500, and it's his first stock car race. All in all, a fine field as they head around turn 3 of this triangular track and look for the green flag. Starter Harold Kinder is looking over the lineup to see if it looks good to him. It'll be a long, long race, 200 laps on this 2.5-mile track, and lots of pit stops for the men down there with the fuel and the tires. And they're off with Yarborough and Bonnet side by side heading towards turn 1. A heavy traffic funneling down in there. Boy, they are close, Jackie, going in.
Always as ever. And there you see Bonnet trying to take a higher line going round there as Yarborough seems to get slightly loose. Richard Petty is in the red and blue cars tight into 3rd position right now, but Neil Bonnet seems to have the lead as they go on to this back stretch going into turn 2. Remember, this is a tri-oval. It's not an oval as we know it in the past, so that's Neil Bonnet, and second to him, of course, Cale Yarborough.
Bonnet usually is a layback driver. Cale usually the charge of the top 6. We look for Cale Yarborough, Buddy Baker, and Harry Gant to try and go hard, and the other two sort of sit and wait. But Bonnet, who is the Wood Brothers driver, driving a car that used to be driven by Cale Yarborough, out in front now, taking that low and flat turn 3, the widest and flattest of the 3 corners on the circuit, as they head up to complete lap number 1 of the Pocono 500 for stock cars. It's Bonnet, Yarborough, Petty, Baker, Allison, Waltrip, and Labonte as they flash under the flag stand. And there, Bonnet's back end drifts out a little bit, Jackie. That chassis loose.
It seems that they're all a little bit loose at this time. Remember, they're settling down. It normally takes about 10 laps for a driver really to get his head cool, to get himself in tune with the racetrack and in tune with his car. And sometimes you see cars handling a little bit differently after those initial 10 laps. These drivers have got to get accustomed to it. And of course, Neil Bonnet, a man who wants to perform well, who's been qualifying very well this year, but the man in second place right now, it's his 9th pole position. That's car number 11 there, the blue and white car. That's Cale Yarborough, and he doesn't want anybody to get away.
It's interesting because the Wood brothers are famous for making a chassis handle, whereas Cale Yarborough's crew are famous for giving him lots of horsepower. And here we have really a handling racetrack.
It seems here, in fact, we saw a little bit of weaving taking place by Neil Bonnet. He was moving out of the wall, then back into the wall, trying to upset the draft that would be going to Cale Yarborough. But now Cale Yarborough is trying to make a pass underneath. It's sure that Cale Yarborough's chassis is handling a little bit better than the car of Neil Bonnet, and he now goes through to try and take the lead.
Now they're going into the very difficult tunnel turn, turn 2 on the circuit, the toughest part of the track with a bump in the middle of it. This is tough because that line is usually 1 car wide through that tunnel turn. And he moves ahead, and Cale Yarborough moves to the front ahead of Neil Bonnet. It's the first pass of the race. Pocono Raceway here is famous for passing. Last year, there were a record number of lead changes here at Pocono Raceway, making it one of the most competitive tracks on the circuit. It had more lead changes since 1975 than any other track, 46.6 per race to 46.5 for Talladega. And here comes another pass as Bonnet goes back for the lead, coming off that turn 3. And Jackie, that's for the handling of the car. Let him get a good run. And look at that, Richard Petty moves in ahead of Cale Yarborough for second. What a shuffle and what a race we're going to be seeing here. And we'll be back for more of the Pocono 500 in 1 minute. Back at the Pocono International Raceway, and a surprise development, leader Neil Bonnet heads for the pits in an unscheduled stop for tires. The Wood brothers go to work in changing both right side tires. They don't know which one is giving trouble. And that gives the lead to Richard Petty in car 43. Darrell Waltrip in number 88 a close second. Buddy Baker in car 28 is third. And 3-time champion Cale Yarborough is fourth. Darrell Waltrip putting a lot of pressure on Richard Petty. And now Neil Bonnet rejoins the race. He's a good ways back after that unscheduled pit stop. Now Petty pulls a little bit away from Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip has had a tough season, and for that matter, so has Petty. And here, back in 9th place, is Kyle Petty, Richard Petty's son, the boy who made him a grandfather not long ago. And look at the distance Kyle has to go to catch up to Daddy. Before the race, Jackie Stewart asked Richard Petty what it's like being in the same race with his 20-year-old son, Kyle.
Well, that's going how good I'm running. If I'm running for first or second, then it's going to be a good deal. If I'm running for 10th, then it's not going to be too big a thrill.
What about being the son of Richard Petty, Kyle? Because it can't be a comfortable relationship in one fact, because your father still is the hero that he is today.
Well, I mean, you know, he's been at it for 20, 21, 22 years or whatever, and I mean, you know, he's got that long to build up these fans and everything. So, I mean, you know, I'm just starting, so maybe in 21 or 22 years I'll be like him. I mean, you know, so it's not that big a deal. I mean, you know, a lot of the fans say, well, you ought to be running as good as your father and stuff, but I mean, you know, we've only run like 10 or 11 races, so he's run 803, so I got a long time to go before I'll be that good.
Wherever you go in the NASCAR trail, Richard Petty has his fans. And every time I look down on the racetrack when he's leading, there's people waving and shouting and getting very enthusiastic about the King Richard's position. It's amazing. He's been very popular for a great number of years.
And another unscheduled pit stop, this time by Dale Earnhardt, the circuit point leader. It's the second stop by a contender of an unscheduled basis in the race for right side tires, and it looks like we may have a tire problem. Earnhardt, in leading the series this year, has won 3 times, and he's already banked $276,000. And he roars back onto the track a good ways back, as is Neil Bonnet. And Petty continues to set the pace out here, traveling at just under 150 miles an hour, being hotly pursued by Darrell Waltrip, one of the young lions on the series. Waltrip is a 3-time winner on the series this year. And Bob Riley's car starts to lay down smoke. He's down out of the groove. I don't think we'll see a yellow flag here. Meanwhile, Waltrip moves in on the back of Richard Petty's car as they come through the very low and flat turn 3 on this tough 3-sided raceway as they head down the long main straightaway, longer than any straightaway on any other racetrack in the United States. And Neil Bonnet back in for a second unscheduled pit stop. That's a tough break for Bonnet. That'll leave him a lap down. We'll be back for more of the Pocono 500 after this. So Chris Economack along with Jackie Stewart at Pocono International Raceway, partway through the Pocono 500 stock car race. Darrell Waltrip, who was challenging for the lead a moment ago, is in the pits for a routine fueling and tire stop. His new Jake Elder gets him back out on the track, and Waltrip charges back into the fray. Richard Petty, King Richard, continues to lead the competition in car number 43. He's ahead of Cale Yarborough, a three-time champion, driving car number 11. Lying third is Buddy Baker in car 28, the winner of the Daytona 500. And Waltrip is in fourth place. That was a quick pit stop. But now Petty is faced with slower cars. He has to thread his way through heavy traffic on the long front straightaway here at Pocono. And look at Buddy Baker shuffle around to slide in behind Cale Yarborough as they, too, come up to lap the slower cars. Petty gets way down low on the track. That white line is supposed to delineate a pit exit road. But the cars are going so fast and using all of the racetrack today, they go from the outside clear down to the inside of the racetrack. Kyle Petty has made his pit stop and fallen from the top 10 for the first time today. Petty's racing speeds close to 150 miles an hour. Here's the relationship between second place Yarborough and leader Richard. Petty's in trouble. Head for the wall. Hits the fence, crashes. Yarborough goes by. Baker goes by. Chuck bounds, spins, and Waltrip crashes into him. Richard Petty, in a surprise, has trouble. Crashes into the outside fence. We hope he's okay. He took a solid hit.
There's the car of Waltrip's really badly damaged, and you can see that crash is a fairly serious one. Richard Petty, the drivers are still in the cars. They haven't got out yet because obviously there are cars going at high speed around them there. This is in turn 2.
Okay, let's watch now. Here's Richard Petty coming down in. Down low on the inside. Seems to be under perfect control as he heads into that section of the course. And something's wrong with the car.
A puff of smoke came out the back. It looks like he might have blown an engine, and he just goes straight into the wall. The car almost goes
turns
up.
over. And Cale Yarborough goes by on the inside. Gets by okay. And more trouble over there. Some of the cars in the back of the pack are skirmishing just under the wreck scene. Slick Johnson, Ty Scott, and Jody Ridley mixing it up in there. As Neil Bonnet, who was a lap down, comes slowly past. Maurice Petty, Richard's brother with the beard, concerned in pit lane as to how his brother is doing. Here, Darrell Waltrip gets out of car number 88. Chuck Bone is climbing out of car 02 as the attendants look at Richard Petty. He's still in his car. Waltrip looks at the engine of his car. Jackie, can you figure out why Petty crashed?
Well, you can see Richard Petty all on his own here, doesn't seem to be in trouble at all, going smoothly around the corner, and then suddenly things happen to go wrong here. There's a puff of smoke comes out of his motor car, and now there it is. You see that puff now? Now, whether that's Richard Petty having a tire go wrong, whether it's a question of an axle seizing up or an engine seizing up, but look what happens. The car seems to get into the marble, seems to turn right, and then almost climbs over that wall. The front wheel is sheared off completely. The car almost turns out. The windshield comes out of the car. And heavy, heavy impact there. You can see the Petty car still having trouble there, locked up. Richard Petty had a serious situation with the wall, the 02 car, and then Waltrip, he's in trouble. There's the car of Waltrip there. He hit Petty, then he also came in contact with the 02 car. Waltrip's car came heavily in contact with the wall also.
And Petty being assisted to the ambulance, and that's a good sight. Relief in this pit there. They're concerned about their driver. That puts Cale Yarborough in car number 11 in the lead under the yellow flag and closes up the field. The wreckage has been started to go back to the pit area. Here's Darrell Waltrip's car coming into the garage area, and it's pretty well torn up. Waltrip, a disgusted driver, getting out of the tow truck there. His wife, Stevie, he's been driving for the championship and needs those valuable points. After all, the series is worth about $6 million, and Richard Petty's car on the trailer. We'll be back later for the conclusion of the Pocono 500 stock car race and report on Richard Petty's condition. Yet to come on today. Pocono 500 stock car race in the closing stages of this event. Neil Bonnet is leading in car number 21. Buddy Baker is second in car 28. Cale Yarborough third in car number 11. Dale Earnhardt is fourth in car number 2, and Harry Gant is fifth in car number 47. This is Chris Economack along with Jackie Stewart. And for those of you who may not have been with us earlier, Neil Bonnet had fallen a lap down, but he got that lap back when Richard Petty crashed out of the race. It was a dramatic incident that sidelined the King. And all also involved Darrell Waltrip and Chuck Bound. Here's what happened. Petty's car, having trouble, sailed up, hit the outside fence, and almost turned over. Yarborough went by okay on the inside. As Petty's car landed, he took several solid hits in this ride. Buddy Baker had to get a little sideways to skim by on the inside, and then came more trouble. Chuck Bound spun his car to miss hitting Petty and kicked him on his way by, but Darrell Waltrip was not so lucky. Waltrip crashed sideways into him. I had a chance to ask Waltrip how he felt right after the accident.
Yeah, I feel okay now, Chris. Got a little crick in my neck, but otherwise, not too bad a shape, I don't think.
Yeah, from where you were sitting, could you see why Petty's car went into the wall?
He broke something on the right front, or he blew a tire or something. He was, you know, that's the really fast part of the racetrack, and he went in just about the time he got ready to turn into that turn. Something let go on the right front.
And Petty was taken first to the field hospital here at the track, then taken to Stroudsburg Hospital about 25 miles away for x-rays for possible neck injury. Waltrip, a determined man, had his pit crew go to work on the car, and they got it so that it would run. Doesn't look very good. He was out for exactly 100 miles and got back on the track. And now we're back with the competition here with Neil Bonnet in the famous Wood Brothers number 21 car. Out in front, a close second is Buddy Baker, the Daytona 500 winner in car 28. And three-time champion Cale Yarborough lies third in the number 11 car. A bit further back, in car number 2 is the national point leader, Dale Earnhardt, and a surprising fifth-place runner is Harry Gant in car number 47. In typical NASCAR stock car fashion, these drivers are close together as they approach the checkered flag in the Pocono 500. Bonnet, the determined driver, fell a lap down, as we mentioned earlier, and got that lap back when the yellow flag came out for Richard Petty's accident. Then he forged his way through the field to move out in front. A remarkable driving achievement for Neil Bonnet. Well, back at Pocono International Raceway, Chris Cotamaki here with Jackie Stewart as the cars have 8 laps to go in this 200-lap, 500-mile Pocono 500 stock car race, and it's 4 men fighting for the lead. Neil Bonnet in car 21 holds the lead right now. Hard pressed by Cale Yarborough, a 3-time champion. Buddy Baker, winner of the Daytona 500, lies third, and Dale Earnhardt, last year's Rookie of the Year, is in 4th place. It's been a dramatic race. Richard Petty crashed out while leading, taking Darrell Waltrip with him. Waltrip made repairs and got back in. There have been a lot of drivers go out with tire trouble because of debris on the track where their tires are cut, and it's been an exciting contest as we head towards the checkered flag. Jackie Stewart is with me. Jackie, do you think Bonnet is going to be able to hold off the charging Cale Yarborough?
Well, he's all over the racetrack. He led early in the race. He showed a clean pair of heels to everybody else. But now, of course, the man who's stalking him is the most treacherous man for him is Cale Yarborough. But look at this shot coming down this front stretch. This is what's been happening. Look at that weaving taking place. I've never seen this in a major stock car race to this extent before. Neil Bonnet is weaving his way down, trying to lose the draft so that the other cars get slowed up. At the same time, the chances are he might be scrubbing off some speed. I disapprove of his behavior because I always think that every time you do that, you give a potential accident situation open to you. Sometimes you may not see the other cars beside you when you move over as abruptly as Neil Bonnet just did. However, he's a man with a lot of talent, with a lot of experience now. He was coached by the Allison brothers, but he certainly wasn't coached in that technique by them.
Well, that's true. But also, Jackie, that car has a reputation for being one of the best handling cars in NASCAR. It handles like a baby carriage, every man that's ever driven it says. And I guess Neil Bonnet can put it wherever he wants on the racetrack.
Yeah, but that's not the right way to do it, Chris. I have to suggest at this time that his behavior on the track, to me, is slightly unethical. I don't like to see a driver using the racetrack like this. I don't believe it's good manners. And yet again, he's all over the racetrack, and there's slower cars in there right now, and that's a problem with only 6 laps to go. It's really close there, and look at these cars trying to get round that slower car. Because of the weaving, that slower car really didn't know who the fast cars were and where they were going to go.
Well, the rule there, I guess, is just to keep your own line. He stayed right where he was, which is the right thing. In the meantime, Jackie, it's become a 3-car race with car 2, Dale Earnhardt, falling somewhat behind. Bonnet in 21 leads Baker in car 28, with Cale Yarborough third in car number 11. as we get closer to the checkered flag in this $180,000 competition. Earnhardt came from a lap down, as did Neil Bonnet, and that's remarkable. Bonnet had to stop twice for tires cut on debris, and then made up the lap, and here he is fighting hard for the victory here at this triangular 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway in the heart of the Pocono Mountains Resort area. Here come the 3 cars off the turn, and let's see what it'll be. 5 turns of the track to go. 5 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line, and now a bid is being made.
And it's Buddy Baker who takes the lead at this time. Buddy Baker in the silver and black car, number 28. And it's Buddy Baker who's now got the lead, with Neil Bonnet in the red and white car, number 21, in second position, and then the blue and white car, number 11, behind that is Cale Yarborough. Now it's a question of philosophy, how they're going to attack each other in this final lap, because it'll only come down, really, to a lap and a half to put themselves into a chessboard set of circumstances that will allow one driver to take advantage. Whether he does it going into turn 3, whether he waits to draft coming out of turn 3, is something that only they will know. Right now, Buddy Baker, big man, 6'5", sitting in that black and silver car, number 28, desperately wants to win, a hungry man. And of course, there's nobody like a race driver this close to the end of the race where you're going to be more hungry.
And now Buddy Baker heads down the straightaway, but Neil Bonnet thinks better of pulling out because of the slower cars directly in front of the leading pack. Jimmy Means in car 52 is the one they're going to have to go around before there's an open raceway for any dicing that will mean something. Baker takes the high road. Bonnet follows in Means' draft and then moves up as Cale Yarborough is right there as this triumvirate heads down the back straightaway. Baker, Bonnet, and Yarborough, 3 of the most famous names in American stock car racing. Baker's engine has the reputation of being the most powerful, and Bonnet's car has the reputation of being one of the best handling. Here they go down over the infamous tunnel turn, and here's where the handling comes into play. As Bonnet tries underneath Baker for the number 1 position, surges ahead and drags Cale Yarborough along with him. And Buddy Baker, who moments ago was leading, is back in 3rd place. Thousands of dollars at stake in these position changes. Well, we'll be back for what looks like a classic finish after this. Bonnet leads as time runs out in the Pocono 500. Yarborough is 2nd, and Baker is 3rd. Well, let's watch Bonnet's line coming off turn 3 to the main straightaway. Whether he comes dipping away from the straight, he almost makes a left turn. He's gone clear across the track, Jackie. As you say, I have never seen. Now he's back up again. He's really weaving. That's supposed to be a straightaway, and he's driving into sort of boomerang shape.
With only 2 laps to go, I'm afraid there's going to be words about this between the drivers and between NASCAR and the officials when this is over, because I don't think anybody has seen it quite to this extent before. And I don't think it's something that should be encouraged.
Look what it's done for him, though. It's given him 3 car lengths on his nearest rival. Dale Earnhardt back there in 4th place trying hard to catch up, and look at that interval. He apparently has just not been able to match the speed. The draft has been broken on Earnhardt, and it's among these 3. Bonnet at 21, Baker at 28, and 3-time champion Yarborough in car number 11.
Well, Cale Yarborough was in pole position. It was his 9th pole position of this year in the NASCAR trail. He was the man that thought to himself today that he could pull this off. And this is the white flag with only 1 lap to go. He came out of that corner completely differently. Now, the position is for Cale Yarborough. He's in 3rd position. It'll remain to be seen what happens now.
And Buddy is showing the horsepower off, but the 21 car works down low. He was dipping that left front wheel, and Cale's trying for the inside. Bonnet's out front. The other 2 are in a position to slingshot as they head for the top tunnel turn. Bonnet's car, he's weaving back and forth. And Baker right in there.
And Baker's got his hand out the window there. He was waving. He was waving at Cale Yarborough. I think they almost touched there, but it looks like Baker is dropped back into 3rd position now, and it looks really like Neil Bonnet's got himself sorted out. He's got a tremendous advantage suddenly. It could be that Buddy Baker's now going to pass Cale Yarborough. He does as they go into turn 3. Buddy Baker is getting into 2nd position, but right now, unless something very strange happens, Neil Bonnet's going to win this motor race.
Well, he's been all over this racetrack today. It was a lap down. He came back. Look at him way down on the inside. He's got his hand on the fans. A huge crowd. Bonnet waves, and he wins it for the number 21 team. Baker is 2nd, and Yarborough is 3rd. Earnhardt gets 4th. What a race, Jack.
Well, certainly certainly a spectacular race, an unconventional race, and the man that we're looking at right now couldn't be more unconventional than he was today in his driving habits.
And so Neil Bonnet, who fell a lap down early in the race after making 2 unscheduled pit stops, had to pass everyone twice to win the Pocono 500. And that last lap skirmish between 2 Carolinas buddies, Cale Yarborough and Buddy Baker, certainly deserves another look. Here they are behind leader Neil Bonnet coming down the straightaway. They're thinking about winning the race, not finishing second, and they came very, very close to crashing, as you can see here. It was a tight skirmish, and Buddy Baker surged ahead right here to cement second place. Bonnet averaged 124.395 miles an hour in winning the race as he heads for victory lane. A happy crew awaits him. Buddy Baker and Cale Yarborough, second and third. Their cars bypass victory lane and head for the garage area. Fourth place went to Dale Earnhardt, and fifth place to Harry Gant, all completing the full 500 miles. Kyle Petty was the top rookie finisher in 7th position. And that's it from Pocono, Pennsylvania. This is Chris Economaki along with Jackie Stewart saying so long from the Pocono 500.